You've probably heard the word psychopath before. Many people immediately picture fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter, serial killers, or people who seem completely deranged and monstrous. However, that stereotype doesn't capture what psychopathy really is. A psychopath is someone who lacks a conscience, feels no guilt, has little or no empathy, and manipulates or exploits other people without remorse. They are often described as social predators because they pursue what they want regardless of who gets hurt, and they rarely experience emotional discomfort over the harm they cause. The key difference between a psychopath and most other people is the absence of internal emotional controls. Most of us have an inner voice that tells us when something is wrong, warns us that we will feel guilty, reminds us to think about how others will feel, or stops us from hurting someone. A psychopath does not have this emotional break. They usually understand society's rules on an intellectual level and know the difference between right and wrong, but the feelings of guilt, empathy, and remorse that guide most people's behavior are largely missing. One of the most surprising facts about psychopaths is that they are not necessarily mentally unstable. They are not psychotic, do not suffer from delusions, and do not hear voices telling them what to do. In most cases, they are fully aware of their actions and understand the consequences. The difference is that they simply do not care in the way most people do. This is one reason they are generally considered legally responsible for their actions. They know exactly what they are doing, even if they feel no guilt about it. Psychopaths are often difficult to recognize because they can appear perfectly normal. Many come across as charming, confident, likable, successful, or trustworthy. This outward appearance has been described as a mask of sanity. Over time, they learn how to imitate normal emotions and social behavior, making it difficult for others to recognize what lies beneath the surface. Although they may appear warm or caring, the genuine emotional experiences that usually accompany those behaviors are often absent. Psychopathy is not as rare as many people assume. Researchers estimate that around 1% of the general population meets the criteria for psychopathy, while the percentage is much higher in prison populations, where it may reach about 20%. In North America alone, this translates into roughly 2 million people who may have little or no conscience. Importantly, most psychopaths are not violent criminals or serial killers. Many live ordinary lives and blend into society without attracting attention. Because of this, there is a good chance that most people will encounter a psychopath at some point in their lives without realizing it. They could be a boss who constantly takes credit for other people's work, a romantic partner who manipulates and deceives, a co-worker who lies effortlessly, or even a friend who only maintains the relationship for personal gain. While not all psychopaths commit violent crimes or end up in prison, their lack of empathy and willingness to exploit others can still cause significant emotional, financial, and psychological harm. Psychopaths often display a recognizable pattern of personality traits and behaviors. They may be unusually smooth and charming, possess an inflated sense of self-importance, lie habitually, show no remorse for hurting others, display shallow emotions, lack empathy, and manipulate people with ease. Their lifestyle may also be marked by impulsiveness, irresponsibility, a constant need for excitement, behavior problems beginning in childhood, and repeated antisocial actions. Although not every individual will display every characteristic, these traits commonly appear together. Psychopaths also differ from many other criminals in important ways. Most people who commit crimes still have a conscience, recognize that what they did was wrong, and may feel guilt or loyalty toward family members, friends, or even criminal associates. A psychopath often lacks these emotional bonds entirely. Their primary concern is themselves, and they may betray anyone if it serves their interests. Their decisions are driven by self-interest rather than empathy, loyalty, or moral obligation. Understanding psychopathy matters because it changes how we respond to people who possess these traits. You cannot appeal to a conscience that is absent, reason with someone through guilt they do not feel, or expect empathy from a person who lacks it. Recognizing the nature of psychopathy is an important first step toward protecting yourself from manipulation, exploitation, and emotional harm. In summary, a psychopath has no conscience. They feel no guilt, no remorse, and no empathy. They are sane, understand what they are doing, and know the difference between right and wrong. They often appear normal, charming, and trustworthy, making them difficult to recognize. Researchers estimate that about 1% of the general population and around 20% of prison populations are psychopaths. They live among us, manipulating and exploiting others for their own benefit. Because they lack a conscience, appealing to guilt or expecting genuine remorse is unlikely to change their behavior. A psychopath doesn't hate you. They don't love you either. You just don't matter to them.